Fucking Jesus Christ. It's Cooking with fucking Nathan. Obviously. Fuck. This is.
Oscar Luna, Luna Tactical.
Yeah. And today we are going to make a fucking, no, that wasn't pancetta. It was carbonara, Argentinian carbonara.
It's about right.
Yeah, give or take. It's basically, I think, a fusion of carbonara, but instead of the pancetta or what the other fucking pork is using, we're going to use Salvadorian chorizo. Now I know that's not the same place. Go fuck yourself. And we're going to use carne asada strips cut on top with some chimichurri, and should be good. I hope. What do you do, man?
I teach people how to shoot guns.
Oh, yeah. And would you say business is pretty successful as of lately?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know, people are needing more guns, and the people that don't have guns are realizing they kind of want one.
Now, since I met you, I think the same time a lot of people met you, after quarantine and after the riots and whatnot, would you say business has soared in California at all?
It's a shortage of guns.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, during the height of COVID, as things started to open up, a standard Glock.
Yeah.
And gun people out there like, yeah, basic Glock, 6 months out.
Oh yeah, the Glocks were 6 months. Huh?
Yeah, it was pay a deposit and wait for it to come in.
That was rough because I remember when I was trying to get the Saint 308.
Yeah, that took what, 9 months?
Yeah, well, I never got it. So that's
you changed, but
yeah, because you guys told me
could have had a baby in the meantime.
Yeah, definitely had a baby in the meantime. So
We had a little toddler running around.
a little baby. I'm very glad I didn't. No, that would have been bad.
Different.
Yeah, it'd been different.
Might have been cooking something different too.
Yeah, British food. So we're gonna do is salt and pepper that bad boy. Now, how are you with your seasonings?
We're gonna wing it.
Yeah, we're gonna wing it. Fuck yeah.
You know?
So actually, I'm gonna just say let's just do all this because I'll eat it later too. Oh. Boop. Boop. Yeah. Let's go ahead and salt and pepper that bad boy. It's too natural. What are you talking about? Yeah. So what is it like teaching people how to shoot? It's got to be mix that up real good. I'll give you a towel. Teaching people who don't know how to shoot guns and then probably shooting guns for the first time, because I've seen you teach someone how to shoot guns for the first time, and I thought it was very interesting.
First timers are interesting because everybody comes from a different walk of life. Mm-hmm. Everybody's had a different experience. You know, there's some preconceived notions to it. There's some, different hang-ups when it comes to it. Mm-hmm. Then there's always, people that are like, hey, I've seen TV. I know how to do this. Well, see.
Yeah, like
so that all plays into it. Mm. But on the most part, beginners, if they're listening, they're paying attention, they slow down a minute, breathe, it's going to be a good experience. Yeah. They're going to pick it up, and we're going to be successful in teaching them how to do it and understanding how the firearm works and how it all kind of comes together.
Nice. Have you had Salvadorian chorizo?
I can't say I have.
It's fucking delicious.
I mean, I guess the natural question, well, what's the difference between regular chorizo and Salvadorian?
You know what, and I would love to answer that, but I have not taken time to actually look into what they season it with. I'm pretty sure I remember this being pretty sweet, but I got this when I first came to LA, and I thought it was delicious. So basically what we're going to do is all the casing, we're just going to chop the fuck out of it. And, yeah, because this is just going to go into a pan. Actually, we can probably do this. And then, yeah, just chop into little chunks.
Made it look a lot easier than what it was.
Yeah, there, I got you. Oh shit. Now, as a man who sells guns and does all the gun stuff, why California? What makes you stay here? Because if anyone knows, it's not exactly the most gun-friendly place.
No, it's not. California is definitely one of the most restricted states in the union.
Yeah.
You know, I'll even go and say something controversial and say the state doesn't want you having guns.
Is that controversial? Or is that just a true fucking fact?
People don't want to talk about it, but it's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, everything I've seen about living here, it seems like that, so.
There's a lot of hurdles. There's a lot more controls in place that really slow down the process. You know, as you and I have talked about, it's like you can't just go in the store and buy 5 guns at once.
No.
Not going to happen. You know. But I guess, why do I stay in California? Born and raised, funny enough.
That's good.
And single dad, raising my kid, who's now 15. And I wanted to have the family structure with brothers, cousins, and all that for
Whole
him.
family.
So it would have been kind of difficult for just him and I to pick up and move to Nevada. Thought about it many times. Got pretty close to it right before COVID.
Yeah.
And then COVID just kind of threw everything for a loop, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think everyone who, with a sane mind, actually at one point during COVID or right before or right after, was like, I kind of want to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that got sketchy for a little bit, man.
Yep.
Especially here in LA, it was fucking got weird. Not my favorite things. Do you remember where you were during the riots?
Yeah, it was riots. I was living in Redondo, so adjacent Hawthorne.
Uh-huh.
So coming home to and from was interesting.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, things burning, and just the craziness of it.
Yeah, that was interesting. I remember being right here, and now this is more of a not exactly the same story, but I just had the night before an orgy with mushrooms and lots of weed and alcohol, and then we woke up and that happened, and I was like, fuck, what did I do?
Yeah, am I still tripping?
Yeah, I was like, did I still? I was like, what did I do? I thought I fucked something up. Then found out something happened not here, so.
You're like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. So let's go and throw some of that meat in here. Just like one at a time so don't overcrowd the plate. So, saying to some people like buying guns in California, right? Or like if you're a California resident, and you're thinking about buying a gun, what is the best way to start that process, or how would you say like go about it? Because I think a lot of people think that guns are really expensive, or guns are way too far out of the reach, or too dangerous, or.
Well, it's, you know,
I know that's a very big question.
Yeah.
Also, so
I mean, I think the first thing, I mean, let's talk about the legalities of what you're going to need to buy.
yeah,
And then we can segue into, you know, price points and all that fun stuff.
Got it.
Legalities is, you know, state of California did this whole real ID thing. And during COVID, a lot of people got their ID sent to them with a renewal. Like, hey, renew here, sign here, we'll send you a new ID. So they got the federal limits. So the federal limits isn't recognized in the gun world. It basically, it's like having a little picture ID, but they can't prove that's you.
Yeah.
So if you have a federal limits, you're gonna need a birth certificate or a passport to prove that that's you in the picture and it's your ID and to validate it. So there's even states in the union where if you go rent a car and you have a federal limits from California, they're like, yeah, you're not getting a car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you find out the hard way because now you're out of state thinking you're getting a car and now you're not going anywhere. So the federal limits thing is a tricky one because they didn't tell you.
Yeah.
They didn't tell anybody. They said, hey, you know, you're not going to go on military bases. You're not going to be able to get on an airplane without a federal limit, with a federal limits, not the real ID. But they didn't tell you that, hey, you're not going to be able to buy a gun that so easily.
Oh, shit.
Even ammo, if you already own a gun, you go to buy ammo, you need to have a corresponding document, which is your birth certificate or passport. Now, if you're a woman and your birth certificate has a maiden name and you're married, now you need a bridging document. So they got to bring in a marriage certificate. Or if they've been divorced, they got to get the court document says their name was restored.
Yeah.
So it gets more complicated. There's different tiers to it. But once you get past the hurdle of your ID, then you need a firearm safety certificate, which is basically a test. You take 30 questions. You're allowed to miss 7. And that card's good for 5 years. Costs you $25.
No.
And that's all just purchasing power. It just allows you, the state wants to know that you're safe. You have a general understanding of what you're getting into. Couple rules, couple safety things. And you need that. That gets you a rifle, a shotgun, or a lower if you're going to do an AR build or something like that. And then, which You've gone that whole road yourself.
I've been down it.
A couple times.
I've dabbled now.
We've chatted on that level.
You want to know the other two? The other ones in? And you're off to the races, sir.
You gonna squeeze this one in? Or
where's the knife? I'll cut that
right
fucking
here.
in half. There you go.
And then if it's a handgun, you're going to need a second proof of residency. Basically, the state wants to know that the ID that you have presented, the address there, that's where you're actually going to sleep at night. And just saying, hey, I live there is not good enough for the state of California.
Is that only with pistols?
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't need it for the rifle or shotgun?
No, not for the rifle.
Oh, shit.
So for the handgun, they want that second proof. And that's got to be, people are like, hey, can I use my car insurance? No. Medical cards? No. It's got to be a public utility bill.
Yeah.
Basically that car registration works. So they're even specific on what documents they'll accept.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So once you have that, you're good to go. The only different nuance to that is California, centerfire rifle or a pistol, 1 in 30 days. So you can't go in there and say, I want 2 Glocks. Not going to happen. You can pay for 2.
Yeah.
But you're going to do the background check on 1, pick that up. 30 days later, you can start the background on the next one.
Now, do you have to come back into the store every time you do that?
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, can we just fill this all out? You want to flip it?
Yep. No, they make you come back in.
There we go. Unfortunately, the problem with these skinnier, I thought this was actually a little bit thicker, but that means it's going to cook real fast, and it's not brown in the way I want to. It's not thick. God damn you, Vi Art the Market.
They got you.
Oh, they got me good. But that's also because I didn't want to wait in line to get the actual stuff behind the butcher counter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my bad. Anyway, it's still going to taste
We'll make it work.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
So once you have all that, you can buy the gun. Do your paperwork, which is your 4473, which is a federal document. So, you have to be honest in that form. You have to fill out complete. But 10 days later, you're able to take the firearm home.
Yeah.
And that's their California's cooling off period, background check. Even though it essentially doesn't take that long to run a background, they can run it instantly. Which, other states, Nevada, Arizona, they run it instantly. So while you're sitting there chalking up paying for the gun, you're done. They'll hand it to you and say, here you go. They ran a background on you, just like California does, but they can do it instantly versus California wants to give you 10 days in case you want to change your mind.
See the bitch out there?
Toss it out.
Yeah. Now, what is your feelings on all that? Like, just personal feelings, like on the 10-day cooling off period. Like, I don't know.
I haven't seen any statistics that show that a cooling off period is going to prevent a mass shooting, somebody doing something stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, if you actually look at the last couple mass shooting schools, the kids that have done it had really exotic high-end ARs. They didn't have a cheap AR. They had a professional grade, nice AR. So, there's some savings, some planning. I mean, these guys, their rifle setup is about a $2,000 rifle. They had about another $1,000 worth of optics on that gun. So you're talking an 18-year-old working a fast food place dropping $3,000. That doesn't happen overnight.
No.
There's some planning already there to begin with.
Yeah. Or taking it from someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember hearing that because I was in England when the one in Texas happened.
Okay.
And I was just talking about, I was talking to some guy about, the whole gun scenario, and he's like, what about with Texas? I was like, what about Texas? That's how I found out was all that happened. I was like, the fuck? How'd it was such a fucking mind boggle of what the fuck. I think I texted you right afterwards. I was like,
yeah.
What's going on, bro?
I think that's exactly what your text was.
Yeah.
So flip it.
Yeah, please. Because it just all of it just seemed so strange happening over there with a kid who had a fucking a really fancy one and a really nice truck. And I was like, man, how the fuck is this kid making this kind of money, dude?
Yeah. It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can always go down the conspiracy theory of oh, there's this and this and this and this.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that. There's some valid points.
Yeah.
I think all in all, I mean, guns aren't going to go away anytime soon.
No.
You look at the general public, the walks of life buying guns, the phone calls I'm getting for training. I mean, 70% of my clientele is women. You know, a lot of them want to take their self-defense into their own hands. They don't want to feel victimized. They understand that, you know, unfortunately, you call the police department in most jurisdictions, you might even get an answering machine telling you to hold on until they can answer your call. Well, some maniac's kicking down your door, that's not an option.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then the people that already have guns are starting to want to become more proficient with them. They're realizing that just owning it, shooting it once a year is not going to get you anywhere where you want to go. I think you see a classic example of that one mall shooting where the CCW holder was able to take down the mass shooter, you know, at some distance.
Yeah.
That kid didn't roll out of bed and get that good without training.
Yeah, did you have a Glock with an optic on it, or just?
I don't know if he had an optic or not, but it was a standard pistol.
Just standard pistol, and he fucking nailed it. I was like,
at 40 plus yards.
Yeah, I was like, all right, buddy, all right. I know one person who could do that today, but good job.
Yeah. So, you know, as far as price points, they're in every price point. You know, it's just a matter of the person identifying what they want it to do. You know, somebody talks to me about guns, like, what's a great gun? You know, well, my first question is, what do you want it to do for you?
Yeah.
You know, is it, you want a nightstand gun, something you can train with? You want to eventually get your CCW? Are you going to be a one gun person? Do you think you're going to get another gun? And, you know, sometimes it's kind of like shoes, you know. You have a pair of shoes for a suit, you know, business attire. You have your running shoes, you have your gym shoes, your basketball shoes. You know, it goes on and on. And that's kind of the same thing with a gun.
Yeah, I can say that, because I went from having just one to now a handful, and I'm like, and you start just playing around with it.
I wonder how that happened.
I don't know. But also, one of the big things is I like taking people out to go shooting.
Yeah.
You know, people have never gone. It's like, I remember, what was it? A long time ago, I had my cousins, they took me out. It was the first time I ever got to go shooting, right? And I remember it's such a fun and positive experience going out to do that. And then I go into Oak Tree, it's like, it's great. You can go out there, go shoot, and then go have a beer and hamburger afterwards. Like, this is a fun little time, you know? It's nice. So I really enjoy the whole being around guns. It's kind of like if you go into a bar and throw darts at a certain point, you know? Yeah. Except, you know, more bang.
I've always looked at it this way. It's a sociable, sporting thing you can do that enhances a skill set that could save your life.
Yeah.
If you needed to use it.
And sorry for the smoke.
It's all right.
Well, let's put this one down now. Nope, not that one. You like my wind chimes?
Yeah, it works, right?
So we're gonna do this, and now we're gonna get the bowl. Oh, because I need to make this first. Let's break all these eggs in this bad boy. Put a little Parmesan. So if you needed to tell someone, like, let's say they were like looking for like a little bit of home defense, and I've watched a bunch of different videos on people saying like what they think the best home defense gun is. What would your opinion be? I know that's almost a trick question.
A little bit.
Yeah. But just like something that you would like, you know, like someone had told you when you first started shooting.
I think the easiest that makes most sense is going to be a handgun. Most of us have loved ones, have pets. You know, a shotgun requires two hands.
Yeah.
You know, a handgun, you can open the door, close the door, use the phone, call for help if you need to call for help. So it's a little bit more practical.
Start fucking shredding that in there.
Yeah. So, you know, shotguns are devastating for home defense, but they're hard on the shoulder. They take a little bit of getting used to. And again, you know, you need two hands to shoot it.
Yeah.
So it just depends on your situation.
Gotcha.
I think, you know, if you do a handgun, if you're able to afford to put a tactical light on there, now you have a flashlight that is attached to a handgun.
Seems like a good way to go out.
Pets, young children. I mean, me, you know, coming through, is that good enough, or you want some more?
Yeah, it should be good.
All right. What do you want this over here?
Yeah, I'll take it. Well, here's this. Stir that bitch up.
All right.
Tell me you don't know how to cook.
Well, you know, the person I cook the most for, my son, you know, he has to say he likes it.
Well, he does look like a man of fancy taste, you know? You like fancy stuff?
Yeah, you tell
He's
that
all
kid.
about his foie gras and.
You tell that kid, hey, you want to have some sushi? He's like, yeah, sure, that sounds good.
Is that as fancy as it gets?
Nah, he eats everything. He's got a good palate.
Nice.
Problem is, if you get him sushi, then 10 minutes later, he's like, I'm hungry again.
Sushi is kind of a bitch like that. You just get hungry and hungry and hungry, man. It's like I always try to do the all-you-can-eat sushi, and then I fail after about like 20 minutes, and then I get home like, fuck, I'm still hungry. It's terrible, terrible business. All right, sweet. I'll put this to the side. And now basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in there. Puddles, you'll like that. You're gonna put this back in the pan, cold.
This in here?
Yeah. We're going to slowly try to render the fat out of this thing. Where is it? There we go. You ever do like anything where you're rendering fat out of a piece of meat? Mm-mm. Okay, so basically you're just gonna try to flatten everything out. It's gonna just try to like slowly heat up the fat and just try to melt it out of there. Because basically what we're doing with this is it's gonna be part of the sauce.
Okay.
So once this starts getting good, golden brown, there's a nice lot of just fat in there. We turn that off, turn this on, put the noodles in there, cook the noodles for about 8 minutes, or once it starts getting close, cook the noodles for about 8 minutes. Then once the noodles are done, put them in there with that, mix them up with all the fat, and then turn off the heat, slowly put that in there. Boom, done.
How do we flatten it?
That.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, just smash it down. Easy peasy. What do you wish someone told you about guns when you first started shooting?
They're addicting.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah.
Well, I think
I wish someone told me how much ammo was going to cost.
that might have scared you away, but
that's fucking like, oh, get the gun. Wait, how much is ammo? Fuck.
yeah. I think the thing that has happened in California for people that started, getting into firearms earlier on has been progressively different laws change and restrict what you can own and buy in California. So
Yeah.
Back in the day, you could walk into a store and, it was standard, ARs, AKs, HKs, you name it, they had it.
Yeah, a bunch of shit.
And it was the semi-automatic version of what the military would have. Mm-hmm. Now there's different restrictions. No evil features, or if you can go evil features, you have to have a fixed mag. You got to have a fin grip, which as you and I have talked about that fin grip, it's not very safe.
No.
It doesn't let you grab a hold of your weapon in a secure manner. So if you're doing heavier training where you're moving and shooting and doing different drills, you could very likely drop that weapon.
Yeah.
And create an unsafe thing.
Now, for people who don't understand, it's like your average rifle that have the pistol grip on it, so you can actually wrap your fingers around it. But if you go to the stores in California right now, they have this fucking fin that comes out of the back of it, so you can't get your thumb around it. And so it's like you have to do like this. Very inconvenient, by the way.
Just try to hold a beer without putting your thumb around it. And just hold it on the side and see how that works.
Yeah, just imagine your fin had a triangle coming off, or your beer had a triangle coming off, and you're just like, be stupid. Which that's one I got first, and then I found out you get this other one that kind of makes it feel like an older rifle, so you have to grab it like this, which it works great. I mean, it's fine. It's interesting that it's just a little bit different, and it's fine.
Till you go out of state to shoot your rifle, and everybody looks at you and goes, "What are you doing? What's wrong with you? Oh, you must be from California."
Don't you shoot the Prius? Of course.
Yeah, California, neon light. Yeah. So I mean, we live in a restricted state, and again with the handgun thing too. I mean, you're allowed 10 rounds versus 15 or 17, depending on the way the manufacturer made that gun. California says, "No, you're not responsible enough to have those many bullets. You get 10."
Yeah. Which is interesting because they just finally said weed's fine, but it's not fine with the gun, or you can only have this many bullets, but not this many. It's like,
yeah, and then weed's okay in California, but the federal government doesn't acknowledge that weed's okay.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother interesting one.
Now I know I'm just a porn person who doesn't know much. You don't need to listen to me, but that seems weird.
I'm biased on my stuff.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying you should go get high and go shoot guns, but I would like to be able to smoke weed at one day and then shoot a gun a different way.
Well, it's just like, you know, you should be able to have a whiskey or a beer one day with your friends. And
Yeah.
Over dinner or just socializing, and the next morning you get up early.
Are you
and
just
go to the
drinking
range.
milk out of a carton, you fucking heathen? What the hell's wrong with you? It's been sitting there for a while. It's like warm curdled milk, you gross motherfucker. Horchata? It's horchata? You're drinking horchata out of a carton?
Technically, it's a plastic container, but, you know, not busting chops or splitting hairs.
I thought he was drinking milk. I was like, what the fuck? Sorry, what were we talking about?
California's saying you only get 10 bullets.
No, yeah.
And you can't, you know, can't do this, can't do that.
Yeah. It is I didn't realize how much of a fuss this was going to be starting to like play with guns and like getting into that. And just the fucking leaps and bounds. Like even trying to get my CCW and like, because I know that I know plenty of people in the industry who are from Nevada and just have it. Or anyone who's not in fucking LA.
Well, there's a couple categories, which is kind of funny because sad, I guess, probably better said. There's free states that if you own the gun, you background your gun, you're able to own it, carry it.
Yeah.
Go do your thing. Then there's shall issue states. Those usually require some sort of training. You know, you take a class, you pass a written test, you submit fingerprints, photos, so they know who you are.
Yeah.
They'll issue it to you. You know, Florida, Arizona are great like that. You know, they'll give it to you. Florida give it to you in 120 days. If not, you can call and harass them.
Yeah.
They smell pretty good. California was selective, almost to a non-issuing standpoint. And then with the Supreme Court and everything, just cause going away where you don't need an explanation as to why. You can say, I want one, and that's good enough now. Before you had to give them crime statistics. Oh, I live near this gang, or I live in this bad neighborhood. I commute here and there. I hire fire people. I have cash, you know, jewelry, diamonds. You don't have to articulate all that anymore. You just have to apply. If you're able to own a gun now in California, you apply.
Oh, shit.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's about a year, right?
Yeah, it's about a year, and then you'd go to your local sheriff. And then what started happening was the sheriff's department's
You can start spinning or mushing around, yeah. So it gets browning on all sides.
Yeah, right. Started to throw some of it back to the issuing cities. So, like, we'll pick Burbank. Before, you could go to LA County Sheriff's, apply to them, and they were issuing them, about a year process. Then they changed it up where if you live in Burbank, they want you to go to Burbank PD and apply to them. And then each city came up with their own prerequisites. So a lot of the smaller cities, they're falling behind because they, first of all, had to come up with a program. So now you're ready to apply. Sheriff's Department said, no, now you got to go to Burbank. Can't go to LA County. So now you're calling Burbank going, hey, I'd like to apply. And they're like, we're not ready for you to apply. We don't have a process in place yet. So wait 3 to 6 months. Then like, hey, we just released our process. So great, let me run in there with my application. And it's like, oh, we've added a couple extra steps. So some of the smaller departments want a psychological evaluation that you got to pay for. So some of the controversial stuff is, you know, you have a single parent who's maybe been a victim of domestic violence, trying to forge raising their own kid on their own, on limited funds. They got to go buy a gun. They got to pay for all this training, all these fees, as well as a psych eval and everything that is required by the particular city to get it. When they already own the gun, they're already obviously responsible. They're not a felon. They're not prohibited from owning it. And they got to go through all these extra steps to get that permit to be able to carry. And then the process is still a good year out. Jesus. And then it's good for 2 years. In 2 years, you get to pay more fees and renew.
Oh, so it's just another way for us to make money. Or sorry, no, not me.
Not us.
I don't make any of this money.
I don't see it.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking... Okay, so maybe it's the same thing as the homeless problem where we get like what is it, $4 billion to homeless and doesn't do a damn thing.
There's a homeless problem in California?
Nope. Yeah, I wouldn't know about that.
All right, I just passed a bunch of tents and stuff on the way here, but...
Bro, good camping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or was it urban camping?
I'm just a bad parent. I don't take my kid urban camping enough. I'm only taking them outside where there's like trees and stuff.
Yeah, fucking weirdo.
Oh, man.
You want to play your Xbox or PlayStation?
These gun guys, I tell you, man, these gun guys, man, no people skills, no socializing skills, you know, just cooped up in home.
Cooped at home at the gun range.
So yeah, that's the CCW process is something that's interesting, and quite frankly, person goes to training. They already own the gun, so they're already law-abiding citizen that was able to purchase the gun. Because if you're a felon, you can't have a gun in California.
Okay.
Can't have a gun, period. But I'm saying California because we live in California.
Can you have, if you're a felon, can you have guns in other states? No?
Felons are prohibited for life.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, unless the only way you're going to get that one cleared up is a presidential pardon.
Oh, so not.
Roll down to Washington, D.C. and have them sign it.
I might be down.
Yeah, just knock on the door. See if they let you in.
Hey, buddy. I did some shit. Can I get a gun? No? All right.
So,
God, man, I forgot how much I like the smell of the Salvador trees. It smells so fucking good. But basically, we're just trying to get it nice and crispy and all the fat out.
gotcha.
And it gives us time for this to cook up. So do you ever go hunting?
No.
No? Not into hunting, or just not?
My thing has been, if I'm going to shoot it, then I need to be able to process it and cook it. That processing thing kind of doesn't really,
Really?
Yeah.
That's what gets you?
Well, no, just don't have the knowledge on doing it.
Yeah.
And growing up in the city, really wasn't exposed to people that were going out hunting.
Yeah.
So my son over there in the corner, he's wanted to go boar hunting. So that's something that we may entertain in the future.
Well, let me know if you go boar hunting. I've been wanting to do that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like just going, like, testing the waters with white-tailed deer hunting. And I thought I'd be bored out of my mind sitting in a stand, and I was fucking locked in the whole time. Ah, motherfucker, he ran away. And there's nothing more insulting than you staring down one fucking path for like 6 hours and then seeing a white butt going that way, and you turn, it's already in the bushes.
It's gone.
It was, oh my God, it happened 4 times. It's like I just happen to be looking the wrong way because I'm trying not to fucking move. Yeah, that's looking good. Now, as someone who's been born and raised in California, what was it like? Does your family, were they gun people, or just something you started doing?
One quick thing on the... Yeah, I mean, basically, my dad was into firearms. My parents immigrated from Guatemala, Central America.
Okay.
Had 4 boys. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. Okay. And my dad was into it, having served his country. He was like, hey, I'm exercising my right and be able to buy a gun. And it was like, hey, you guys are good, grades are good, you guys are behaving, take you guys shooting. And there was a lot more areas, land where you could shoot on growing up.
Yeah, because down that way, there was a bunch.
Well, there was a place just off opposite direction when you exit to go to Magic Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Away from Magic Mountain, up in the hills there, you could shoot. So got into it like that as a young kid. Really enjoyed it. Was like, this is cool. It progressed to when I turned 18. And as soon as, at the time when I was growing up, 18, you could buy a rifle. So lo and behold, 18, I was at the gun store, right up in line going, hey, let me buy that.
What was the first one?
Mini 14.
Oh, yeah. Fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
The laminate stock, stainless steel, was a limited run.
Yeah, it's looked good. All right. That's good to go.
So that just progressed into, it being kind of a passion and getting hooked on it, enjoying it, and just, taking friends out. Like you said, it's if you're a shooter, it's always fun to take friends out shooting.
Yeah.
To kind of share that experience with them, see somebody pull the trigger on a gun for the first time, and as they start to hit their target, it's like the excitement that they show. It's a cool thing. Yeah,
that was something I didn't think about. I was going to thoroughly enjoy until it was actually there. I was like, wow, I'm really enjoying just sharing this with people.
Yeah, and you've brought a few people out to my classes. And, it's like...
I'm like, dude, it's like, hey, you want to go? Fuck yeah, shoot my guns. You got to pay for ammo.
Yeah, we'll start off with, you're like, yeah, I'm going to come out and train. Next thing I know, you're like, hey, I'm bringing a few people.
It seems like it works out real nice, right?
Yeah.
There we go, 5 minutes.
Well, back to the CCW thing, what's interesting is, the person that applies goes through the training, they submit their background for a background check again at the time, fingerprints, they do an interview, photo, the whole 9 yards. There's no statistical evidence that shows that people with CCWs are out committing crimes.
Huh.
And that's something.
Now, when it comes to like getting a CCW or just carrying in general, now maybe this is coming from ignorant mindset, but I think that everyone should do something where they actually have to go do a little bit of training. But I think everyone who has a gun should train a little bit.
I agree, not only from a business standpoint, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah. You know, and so like, how do you, like, on the same notes of like CCWs and whole, like how do you feel about the states who just like, you can carry a gun wherever?
Nah.
Did that get a little tricky?
Yeah.
You can always say puff, puff, pass. You know?
No, I'm good with it. Well, I'll even touch upon the California CCW requirement. I think it's very lenient.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, next time we shoot, I'll bring you a B-27 target, which is what most of the jurisdictions. It's a very generous, big target. So if you stand square up to the camera, it would be bigger than your chest.
Oh.
And make you look tiny.
Oh, really? Just like how far away is the...
The distances can be, it's usually no further than 12 yards.
Oh,
and you
really?
shoot at 3 different distances. Each county picks their own requirements, how many rounds, and you just basically gotta, you can even miss once or twice and you still pass. Which for me, I think, I'd like to see a little bit stricter.
Yeah.
I've actually done mine in Nevada, because Nevada, some states have what's really cool is a non-resident permit. So if you play by their rules, you do your training there, you apply with them directly, you can have one even though you don't live in that state. So a lot of people know this. Florida and Nevada have had a non-resident for many years.
Oh.
So I've had mine in Nevada, Florida one for, as far as I can remember. You go there to Nevada, you take the class there and you apply there and everything like that. But theirs is a little bit stricter. Theirs you even have to shoot with your non-strong hand. So I'm a righty, shoot with both hands, but you have to also shoot with your left hand, solo hand.
Oh, damn.
So they really want to make sure that you're proficient. And I agree with that, because if you look at the ramifications, somebody pulls out their gun in a self-defense situation in a crowded parking lot, they miss.
Yeah.
That bullet's going to go somewhere. And that person's accountable for that bullet, whether it's property damage, loss of life, or injury to somebody else. But, being a parent, I wouldn't want to be taking my kid to go get some shoes and somebody pulls out their gun because they're getting robbed in the parking lot and they miss the bad guy, and my son gets a bullet or I get a bullet.
Yeah.
So I'm all about, there needs to be, definitely a set level of standardized training that says you need to go through this. And right now it's a 6-hour class, and then 2 hours are allocated to qualifying on the range in California. Oh. So an 8-hour class gets you up and running in California.
Okay, so when you go get a CCW in Nevada, you gotta you go through their whole training specifications, and you come here and it works over? No?
Nah, they were trying to do a national reciprocity where if you had a CCW...
It's just wishful thinking.
Yeah, wishful. It looked very promising for a minute, but it didn't go anywhere. Where if you had a CCW... But prior to 9/11, police officers who are sworn to protect the law, they technically, their CCW, if they lived in one state, didn't transfer to the whole country.
Is that considered what?
Yeah,
Firearm.
I don't know, but I don't think so. But I don't know. Fireworks, it's more of a city and county thing where they're just cracking down on those because of the fires. So there's some hefty fines for that. I think you actually get in trouble more these days for lighting off illegal fireworks in a prohibited city than you would if you got caught with a gun.
Makes sense. Burns a lot more shit. Yeah. So we're trying to do with the sauce. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. It smells good though. So you want to keep stirring that up?
Sure.
It's always crazy having someone on the show when you get such wealth of information. You're just like, it's too many questions to ask at once, and I wish we had more people on the Twitch stream to ask things for us. Oh, can you talk about the job that you used to have?
Loss prevention, or which one?
Yeah, when you worked for the company, Gucci?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can you talk about that?
Yeah. What do you want to know about it?
Just anything. I want to know, how'd you get that job, and what did that entail?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, started my career in law enforcement with Santa Monica PD's Harbor Patrol. And if you say Baywatch, I'm going to toss this through the room.
What?
If you say Baywatch, I'm going to toss this through the room.
I didn't say Baywatch.
All right, just making sure.
Right.
Making sure.
That's good.
So dealt with pretty much criminal, homeless, and gang members on the Santa Monica Pier, the beach, and the adjacent area. And at the time that I had been mentored to get into law enforcement, a lot of people who were mentoring me were leaving to the private sector. They were just jumping ship as quick as they could get out of there. So I did a little bit of self-thinking and realized, you know what? This might not be the career path I want it to be. And had an opportunity to go into the private sector. Immediately left there, went to go work for Giorgio Armani in loss prevention and progressed through different retailers and ended up doing about 12 years with, mix it all up?
Yeah, mix it up real nice.
Did about 12 years with Gucci Group. And at the time it was cool because anybody that saw the movie, Domenico De Soli, Tom Ford era was a very interesting era for that side of the business, luxury retail. And there I was basically in charge of the security guards that were in the store, the in-house loss prevention, and all the internal investigations, as well as trademark things and what have you. So there I was running a lot of details, moving jewelry, Academy Awards, tribute to style, a lot of that. And that was interesting, It's a different world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool,
It's got to be a very interesting, whole different thing from what you're used to seeing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even had one year we had a suspicious package back when there was a problem with packages being dropped off that were, explosive incendiary devices, basically kind of like a Zippo lighter in a package. Yeah. So when you open it, it charged your face.
Oh.
So we had one of those dropped off, and that was kind of a cool kind of side story.
Yeah.
News choppers there. I'm all, being nosy, talking to the sheriff's unit that brought the little robot out to go open up the package, and all of a sudden my phone starts going off. People are like, "Hey, you're on TV. You think you should really be that close to that thing?" I'm like,
Now, did you have to go to Italy, or were you doing that here?
I did in the U.S., but I did go to Florence to check out the manufacturing process. We were looking at different trademarks because the product being counterfeited so much, we were looking into holographic little tags on the merchandise to be able to identify real and not real.
Gotcha. So is that so what you had to do was, I'm still kind of confused on what that job entailed, though.
Basically, protect company assets, manage shrink, and conduct all the investigations that needed to be conducted. So ORC, organized retail theft, that was a big problem because these rings we would track San Francisco, they'd go San Francisco, Vegas, LA, Orange County, Southwest Plaza, and you basically just run intelligence on them. Okay. Put their pictures out to your stores and make sure everybody understands that, hey, these guys, aren't there to buy anything, they're there to rip us off. The investigation side was interesting, because you do, to kind of put it in perspective, if you have an employee who's stealing from luxury retail, they've been there, let's say, they've been there long enough to get a 2-week vacation. Yeah. They're working 50 weeks a year, minus the 2 weeks that they're on vacation, and they steal on the cheap because, most of them have been to a luxury store, minimum $1,000, that's $50,000 a year.
Shit.
I mean, you get a couple employees doing that, it's a significant loss to the company. So it was my job, I'd run some investigative reports, identify, some areas of concern, fly in and pull some people into an interview and have a conversation with them.
Oh.
That thing turned off.
Yeah, no. That's not supposed to be turned on. But just try and get sure this all comes out tasting all right. Because, again, I am not exactly sure how good this is or what it's supposed to taste like, but I don't hate that. One second.
It's a good start.
There you go. Yeah. Try a little bit of that. It's got a fun little flavor to it.
Yeah, let's do this way. No, that didn't work out as the way I planned it or envisioned it. It does.
Yeah, right? Alright, what I'm gonna do. Oh, really? You're gonna be out now, you fucking piece of shit? Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna heat this up a little bit longer. Try to get this a little bit thicker. Attack. Such a good girl. Come on, get. Good girl. It's tasting good, yeah. High five, buddy. Yeah. We're fucking doing it. So how long did you do that for?
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
What made you leave?
Tired of traveling.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just was it on a plane all the fucking time?
You know, it's cool till it's not cool anymore.
Yeah.
You know, when you're on a really first name basis with your dry cleaner, it's not good.
Yeah.
You know, you go, like, I think one of the last runs I did, I'd gone back from Italy, been back for like a couple weeks, then I went to Houston, Vegas, home, back to Vegas, and then I ended up having to do a special project where I had to go to Florida, which wasn't even my territory, but the brand president for that particular brand wanted me to conduct an investigation there, so it was back to South Beach. It just got to be a grind.
Yeah.
You know, it's like checking into hotels at first is cool. You know, you got a corporate card, you're going at really nice places, eating, but then it's that provable, you know, table for one.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, this is boring.
That gets very lonely very fast.
Yeah. So, you know, then you start to kind of be like, I wish I was home. I got stuff to do at home. Or, you know, my situation too, I was coming home from traveling and go to crank up my Harley and the battery's dead. And it's like, okay, I can't even do what I want to do on my days off when I'm home. It's like, and then you're getting ready to hit the road again. And this is starting to be a grind.
Yeah, that seems a bit of a pain in the ass. So let's see.
At the time, it kind of worked out good too, because, you know, I progressed from there to, you know, just doing stuff locally, a lot of consulting, and had my son. So that definitely, there's no way I was going to travel with a kid.
Yeah. That looks like it'd be even harder thing to do. All right, let's see if I can get this just right. Get this one of that. No! God damn it! Boom. Fuck you. And I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be good. One second, let me pull myself a plate. So if you could tell anyone one thing, and I only say guns because I think that's a very thing that you're very, very knowledgeable in, what would you tell them?
Do your research. You know, if you're going to buy something, do the research on what you want, what it is going to entail. Seek out training, whether it's professional training or friends that are already doing it. Don't just assume it's something you can go out there, buy it, and read the owner's manual, and you'll be okay.
Yeah. Boom. All right. Shut. Shh. All right, let's try this food, man. I like it. It could use some tweaking, but it's fucking good, huh? What do you think?
Works.
Yeah. Like, I'm not sure about the chimichurri with it, but hey, thank you, Judy. You're awesome. Thank you for constantly supporting our channel.
Hi, Judy.
There's things I want to do different to this, but I think this has got some good bones to it. Thanks for trying this with me, buddy.
Pretty good, man.
All right. Why don't you tell them where they can find you, what's new, what's going on, all that stuff, so I can use the food.
Well, my webpage is lunatactical.com. So we've got a little bit of info on me, classes, just tells you a little bit about what I do, as well as there's a contact buttons on each page there. You just hit the contact button. You can send me a little message. You can schedule a meeting if you want to just meet up on the phone for about 15 minutes. We can chat. I don't mind talking, reach out. You have a question, reach out. I don't really think there's a stupid question. Send it, I'll answer it.
He can talk. I've seen him do it. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in with another episode of Cooking with Nathan. Always sorry to the Twitch fans because this shit never goes on a day or a time that we hope it would. But thank you so much for showing up. If you've liked the channel, like, subscribe, follow, all that shit. And tune in next time for another episode of Dramatic Talking and Eating Food. Bye. Cut it. Cut it, Dante. Cut it.